Okay, it says we're live. So are we live? Let me see. There's usually a few seconds of delay, and I've gotten paranoid about the video actually starting again lately, since apparently it did mess up on me once recently. But there we go. All right, we're live. We got today to open up for you Masters of the Universe X Thundercats Tygra. I just realized I spelled his name wrong in the in the title, so I'm gonna fix that real quick. Tygra with a Y, almost like the poem "Tiger, Tiger, Burning Bright in the Forest of the Night." I don't remember the rest. Whatever. It was on an episode of Batman, Batman the Animated Series. Rouge Hans is here and says hello, hello, right back to you. Good to see you. So I hadn't noticed before. They've got like a little bit of extra glossiness on the logos there, so it helps them stand out a little bit more. So I've got 3 more figures in this set to open. I've got this one, Chitara, and Panthro, and that's the order I'm going to be opening them in. This is the one I was actually kind of least excited about. So, Panthro was actually my favorite of the Thundercats when I was a kid. And Chitara was a pretty girl. And Lion-O is the leader of the Thundercats. And Tygra is a guy. I don't remember a whole lot about Tygra. I guess he just didn't stand up that much to me. But apparently he's a noble scientist. It says here, the noble scientist Tygra discovers that Third Eternia is home to many wonders, both good and evil. And there he is fighting against Panther Man, which I do have pre-ordered. So I'll have him soon. So I've got this theory that one of the things that inspired Thundercats was the musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber entitled Cats. And if you've ever seen the performers in that musical, not the movie where they're creepy CGI things, but the actual stage musical, they've got all these elaborate costumes and makeups and such. And, basically they're in these leotards that are kind of airbrushed to look kind of like cat fur. And I kind of feel like that was the thing that the people at LGN were kind of like, kids like He-Man, kids like cats, might as well mash them both together. And Tiger is the one that I kind of feel like looks the most like a character out of that musical. In fact, the episode of The Office where Andy is a Halloween episode and he's supposed to be a kitten. He's definitely wearing the Cats type of look, and he pretty much looks like Tygra. So anyway, we've already read this comic book. That's the same one that came with He-Man. There's the cross-cell artwork on the back. So we're going to go look at that with Panthro, Tygra, and He-Man. And it says, "Put on Thunder Helmet." Well, I guess we will do that. Nice picture of Tygra there, by the way. I think that worked out quite well. So let's go ahead and get the figure and the accessories out of here. And first of all, we've got this extra shirt. Kind of part of a shirt. Again, it's that leotard look. It's very 1980s, but again, reminds me of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. Let's go ahead and get these rubber tabs off of this guy so we can get him out of the package. And I gotta say, I'm not really too impressed with the armor on this guy. Like, I thought they did a really good job making a Masters of the Universe type look for Lion-O. I thought that translated really well. This one I'm not feeling so much. I kind of feel like they could have done a better job with this, and darned if I didn't drop that Thunder helmet. I don't think I'm going to get much use out of it, though. I'm not really that impressed with that look, looking at it in the package. He's got this kind of like translucent green kind of armor. Oh man, they got all this kind of taped in, tabbed in, all this kind of stuff. Oh, the rubber tabs, they drive me nuts. They really do. It's about the same color, actually, as some of the stuff that Crystal Ball came with in the G.I. Joe line. Man, and I'm trying to cut this in such a way. I really don't want to accidentally cut the string for this whip. So I'm just being really careful about it. I think I got it out all right. So cool. We'll set that aside for now. We'll come back to that. So we got the extra shirt thing and the whip, and then there's some extra boots, the extra boot tops anyway. Those are rubber banded in behind the figure. And there's rubber tabs around each of his elbows and around each of his actual ankles. I think I got all of that. So let's see if I can get them out easily. And then maybe I can find what happened to the Thunder helmet. Oh, I dropped dropping everything. No, I thought I dropped the extra boot piece, but no, it's still there. Rushan says, you made a post about the Ninja Turtle. I'll have to check that out. There we go. It's still in there. All right, so there we got him out. I'm going to set this figure aside for just a moment, and I'm going to see if I can find his Thunder helmet. They literally called it a Thunder helmet. Is that it right there? Did I find it already? No, that's a piece that came with Crystal Ball. Like I said, it's it's pretty much the same color. I'm not that impressed with the Thunder helmet anyway. I thought it looked kind of goofy. So I don't know. I would not wind up displaying him with that helmet. I'll tell you that first of all. Like right off the bat, I would not display him with the helmet. So that would not be a thing that I'm not too worried about that. But I would like to find it because I would like to talk about it in the video. But it fell on the floor somewhere, and I don't know where it could have gone. I was hoping maybe it just fell in the box, but it doesn't seem like it did. That means it might have gone under the couch. And if it's under the couch, that means we'll probably never see it again. But, you know, whatever. I wasn't that impressed with it anyway. I got a feeling this guy is going to wind up having a lot of the original. He's going to be closer to the original version. But I'm probably still going to keep the furry boots. I like the furry boots. So here's what the boots look like that he comes with. And they're kind of gray boots with blue across the top. And you can see his feet are kind of like blue, but they're open at the toes. So you can have the toes sticking out. Again, that's it reminds me of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. And he's got, it looks like mine is kind of messed up a little bit. The tab that goes in the back, you see it's kind of jacked up there. And he does have a little thing here to store his weapon. But I'm not really sure how you store a whip in that. It doesn't really fit in there very well. So I don't think they thought this through very well. This seems to me like kind of a generic piece of armor that they just needed to give him something that looked kind of like something that came with He-Man. And Rushan says, "Can you show me your blue walls?" I mean, that's them. That's it's this kind of like sparkly paint that the person who used to have this room before me, who is a good friend of mine, he painted it this color. And I kind of like it because it reminds me of like the night sky, but it is kind of sparkly. I don't know how well that comes across on the camera, but I'm going to take this thigh armor off. I'm just going to take all this green armor off because I'm not that impressed with it. It's like translucent green armor, and I don't really get it. I don't really understand it. But the thigh pieces have these kind of chains sculpted onto them. It's not like badly sculpted armor. I think I can do something with it. Look, it's got like chainmail all underneath this pauldron here. There are some cool aspects of it, but I'm just not that impressed with it. Yeah, see the whole tab. It looks like the tab got broken off or cut off or melted or something. It seems like it should be a little bit longer than that. That's what I'm thinking. So pop off his head. I'm just going to take all this stuff off of him because I'm not that impressed with it. And we're just going to set it aside. I think they could have done a better job with his armor. Like I said, Lion-O, I thought they did a great job. Can I dance? No. Rouchance asked if I can dance. That is not a skill that I possess. I am not a good dancer. I can move around awkwardly. That's what I can do. But once I got the armor off of him, there's a lot of stuff that I like about this figure. He's got like a lot of good paint applications. I mean, he's a tiger guy, so he's got tiger stripes on him. That's cool. He's got like a gray kind of wife beater here with like long, pale blue sleeves. You know, that's the outfit that you think about Tygra as having. God, this elbow is very, very fused. So I'm just not going to force that elbow. I'll hit it with a hairdryer later. He looks like he's got the same longer arms that He-Man has. Like, remember how I was talking about the He-Man figure? I felt like the arms were too long. It's not so bad with Tygra because I kind of feel like, you know, he's not entirely human. So it kind of makes sense that that he would be a little more disproportionate, whereas He-Man should, you know, be proportioned like a human somewhat. Like, I know that, like, his proportions are exaggerated. So I'm going to put the extra shirt on him, and we're going to see him mostly in his classic Thundercat style, but I'm going to keep the furry boots on him because I like the furry boots. But I'm going to put his this is kind of an awkward thing to get onto him with this shirt. Even when we taking the arm off, I'm going to have to stretch it out a little bit to get it on there. There we go. We'll get the arm back in there. And I'll pop his head back on. And all these figures just they all are supposed to come apart. So like the rest of the Origins figures, even though they don't reuse the Origins parts, these are new parts for this line. And like I said, the torso is a little bit smaller, but the arms are a little bit bigger. It's kind of crazy. Man, that's going to drive me nuts with that arm being fused like that. I'm going to have to fix that later. So, and if I was going to swap out the boots, which I'm not going to, that would be pretty much... Oh, and you would have to take off the bracers, I think. I don't think Tygra is supposed to have bracers. Rouge Haunt says, please, can you dance? I mean, like, that's not the best I can do. I am not a dancer. Which is a shame because you know, it would be a nice skill to have. But yeah, so that's pretty much the classic look. Like I said, I'm keeping the furry boots on there because I like the furry boots, and in fact, I'm gonna put the loincloth back on him. We'll get a look at that. So this is kind of like a mashup of the two looks, kind of like a best of both worlds kind of thing. Like I'm keeping the Thundercats type shirt, but with the Masters of the Universe type loincloth and the bracers and the furry boots. And I think that's about the best look I can get for Tygra. I think that excuse me. I think that's about the best I'm going to be able to do with them. So Tygra can look up about Butterfingers today. I knocked over Dracula because Dracula was I still got Dracula on my desk there. Didn't even knock him off the stand. Everything just went flying. So I'm going to put Dracula back on the stand. Do love my Dracula figure. Okay, there we go. And the cape fell off him again. Everybody knows how much I love Dracula. Dracula's so cool. There we go. All right. So you can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, or rotate the head all the way around. Of course, the arms rotate all the way around the shoulders, but over here, you're going to have this little sleeve thing that's going to kind of get in the way of that a little bit. Now, he's got a single joint of articulation at the elbow. I can actually get this one to move. When you dancing, thinking of AI. All right. So elbow can bend about that far. And he does have these kind of straps. This one's actually an elbow pad. This one's just a strap. And again, that's how the original figure was designed. And then you can rotate the elbow all the way around. It's at a little bit of an angle. Both the wrists rotate all the way around. And these seem to be like standard Masters of the Universe hands. They both have a horizontal hinge that moves back and forth like so. And then he rotates all the way around the waist. Tygra can kick up about that far, and he's got a single joint of articulation at the knee that bends about that far, rotates all the way around, although at a bit of an angle. The boot cut, so he rotates all the way around at where the boot meets the shin, and then his foot can point down about that far, point up about that far, and then that rotates all the way around. And the weapon he comes with is, of course, his whip. And it's this whip with these 3 balls at the end of it, like a bola. And the handle of the whip is translucent. So let's go ahead and put the whip in his hand, and we can get a look at Tygra with his whip. And it swings around really nicely because this part is all molded plastic, and they did mold the ends of the whip to look like the same sort of cord that they used to make most of the body of it. It's a really cool whip. I think they did a really good job with it. So Rouge Haunts asks, "Are you AI Alan?" No, I am just like organic intelligence. I am not artificial intelligence. I was born and nurtured. So, but yeah, and you can have him hold it like that. He's actually a really cool figure. And like, I wasn't too excited about this figure. He was probably the one I was least excited about. But now that I've got him like configured in a little bit more of the classic style, I think he's really cool. I definitely like this look a lot better than the translucent green armor. Now that I've got him in the classic, Thundercat style, now I'm a little more impressed with him. Now I'm starting to feel this figure. Now I'm really glad that I picked him up. So whereas before I was kind of like, well, I kind of have to get Tygra. You got to have Tygra to fill out the rest of your Thundercats. It'd be kind of stupid to have Lion-O and Chitara and Panthro and not have Tygra. Man, I hope they make more characters from this, because there are a lot more Thundercats characters they would make. I would really like to see the villains, Slithe and Monkey and Vulture Man. I think those would be really cool. They made some more villains later on, but those are the main ones I remember from the first series. And it'd be cool to have Jaga, Wily Cat, Wily Kit, and Snarf. So, but Tygra turned out pretty cool. I'm really impressed with him. And I wasn't expecting to be that impressed with him. But now that I got him in hand, and I'm actually playing around with him and messing around with the parts and swapping out the parts. And I came up with this really cool look for him with, where it kind of combines some of the Thundercats look with the He-Man look. And I think that really makes it work, where now he's not just a guy in a leotard. Just having the furry pieces to it makes it a little more sort of my speed, I think. I think that works out really well. Anyway, I guess that's it for Tygra. I don't have much else to say about him, but he's a cool figure, and I'm glad I picked him up. So next episode, and I'm not sure when the next episode is going to be, because I'm visiting my mother tomorrow. So I might do one. I might stop by and have a video after I get off work and before I go over to my mother's house, squeeze one in before, and that will be Chitara if I get around to that. And then Panthro will be the last of them. And then I've got a lot more cool stuff on the way for you. We're going to have more Ninja Turtles. We're going to have more G.I. Joe. And we definitely got more DC Multiverse. And we got some Marvel Legends figures, which don't open up a whole lot of Marvel Legends figures these days. And I probably would like to open up more, but we'll get into talking about all that once we get onto that. So anyway, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Tygra, both the character specifically and the figure. Like I said, I don't remember a whole lot about this character, and I know I watched the cartoon, but I guess Tygra never really stood out to me that much. But if you are somebody who is a big fan of Tygra, I want to know why you think he's cool and what you like about him, and what I should consider. Should I consider more things about this character? And maybe I've given him a rough deal. You know, I guess he's kind of like the Stratos. You know, like if look at the figures that they made. If we draw the parallels between the Thundercats and the He-Man characters, obviously Lion-O being the main guy, he's He-Man, and Panthro being the gadget guy is Man-at-Arms, and Tila is the girl, like Chitara is the girl. They both have staff weapons too, come to think of it. But Tygra, I guess, just by process of elimination, he's like the Stratos of the group. So, but whatever. Like I said, I really like this figure now that I've got him opened up and everything. And I wasn't expecting to like him as much as I did. So that's a nice surprise. Anyway, next episode is going to be Chitara. If you want to make sure you don't miss that one, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. YouTube likes it when I say like and subscribe. So I like to say like and subscribe. I like it when you leave comments. So please leave a comment. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.